Okay, you know what I want to cover? I want to talk a little bit more about the why in relation to cryptocurrencies. You know, all of this technical wonders and great things that cryptocurrencies and the blockchain could be, it still makes you come back to a kind of, okay, so what? Why? Why do I need to even, why would we need that? And so let's just talk about it. Number one, to perform online transactions where paper money is not possible. So the mere fact that we have online transactions means that if we had online currencies, those transactions would work better. They would be more seamless. We could have more control over those transactions. We could we could have rules that where transactions lead to other transactions and other rules. And when other rules are satisfied, other transactions take place. So to me, that's the number one. That's the number one thing about why we need cryptocurrencies and the blockchain. But any transaction that might include a credit card can transact using cryptocurrencies. And so we've come to think of online transactions taking place using our debit card, credit card, whatever. But with cryptocurrencies on the blockchain and all of the applications the blockchain allows us to do, it gives us that ability for machine learning, for artificial intelligence, or you can call it augmented intelligence. It's not like it's really like a robot that can think for itself, but it's augmented. We're putting brains into the internet to make things happen for us. So some of the quick some another so one of the reasons to dive into is a central intermediary has power and control. So that's what we currently have. A central intermediary. That means a central place where all the money is kept, is tallied up, is controlled by the gatekeeper, Uncle Sam, right? Or the evil children of Uncle Sam. So centralized intermediaries have consistently abused this power. This is just historical facts. And centralized intermediaries reward their friends and punish their enemies. Again, this is not an opinion, this is just a fact, not just a historical fact, a current fact. This is how administrations um, spend their dollars. They choose where to spend it at. And this is a monetary, decision. And so it's part of our monetary supply. It's our money. So I'm going to restate that. Centralized intermediaries have power and control. Centralized intermediaries reward their friends and punish their enemies. And Caucasians are American uh, monetary system's friend. Black Americans are American monetary system's enemies. We didn't ask to be. Uh, it's not a judgment call, it's an observation of the historical reality that we have been in. And so cryptocurrencies have embedded something that's called the trust protocol. And that means that the trust is embedded in the system, in the algorithm, so that the centralized intermediary cannot reward its friends and punish its enemies, because we are not using the centralized intermediary. We will use a decentralized system, and that's what the blockchain is. The theory of centralized intermediaries, the banking system, The theory is referred to as the franchise value. The theory that this is what's going to prevent them from abuse, because it implies that they're trying to reach equilibrium in the economy, and it's just completely false, because it assumes that there's no social or systemic racial barriers built in. So what it is the franchise itself is built to operate unfairly and requires the trusted third party to operate under normal conditions. And those normal conditions are normally unfair conditions. So the system is operating how it is designed. It is designed to operate unfairly under normal conditions. And so cryptocurrencies put a monkey wrench into that. And so, the great overseer of the U.S. Monetary system um, is left holding their own bag. Nobody's working for them no more in this scenario, where cryptocurrencies become a dominant means of exchange. And another reason is that it's kind of the same reason, but another part of that reason is that, no, we do not have the ability to trust the government or the enforcement of the government's laws. And it's actually not the government's laws. It's the enforcement and in inaction of those laws, not inaction, the enforcement, and just who has to follow and who don't, is what I basically mean. So the currency alternative to dollars will give us the power that I mentioned earlier. In a centralized intermediary, they have power and control. Well, as a um, self-sustaining uh, economic, or I should say, a self-sustaining ecosystem that operates on the blockchain, then we also control similar power and control without being in that centralized economic role, centralized intermediary. We don't have to be in the center. We just need to control our own thing. Is what I'm saying. So you think about it, the dollar's value is subject to the faith and credit of the U.S. Faith and credit of the U.S. means you have faith that they will blow somebody ass up. Their bombs is big. That's what's up. So, and what that means is the government is allowed to print more dollars at any time because they got bigger guns. And so they just print more dollars. But what that does is devalues the dollar I got. So if it's only $1 million out there and I have one, then I have one of 1 million. But if you just printed 1 million more, now it's 1 out of 2 million. My the value of my dollar just got chopped in half. Well, every time the Federal Reserve prints a new dollar, your dollar is worth a little bit less. It's worth a little bit less. And so that situation is effectively a tax on you, because the amount that your dollar has been devalued, well, the government could have just taxed you that amount and you would have had the same value of your dollar. But they don't want to do that because you're already getting taxed. So they can't tax you, can't keep taxing you. So they literally tax the currency that you operating with. So that system is not cool.